Hello, Adam, and welcome back to the pub. How are you doing today?
Yeah, I'm very well, thank you. Good to have you back in the pub with us.
Yeah, I've been a few weeks off now, right?
Yeah, it's good. I think you were in the actual pub last week.
Yeah, I was in the actual pub in New York, and that was very nice. But glad to be back. Glad I didn't miss too much. I've been keeping on top of the updates, but relatively quiet week, I think, for updates this week. But some good ones that we're going to go through.
Yeah, not too many this week, but a couple of interesting ones.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's get cracking straight in. So add in my screen here. So this is a really interesting one. Create new contacts from social interactions. So what does this mean? It means that if you're a social media marketer, you're in the reply tab of your social inbox, on your social tools, and we'll show you that in a sec. You can add those contacts straight to the CRM. What do you think about this one?
It makes sense to have it as a feature. I've been personally, as somebody that doesn't really use it at all, for social. I don't know how much somebody that is a social media actually uses this feature in terms of replying and stuff. I guess they do. So it's a good feature to add.
Quite interesting one. So like we've got ours open here, so you can see here everyone's saying congrats Dan. That's because he's started a new role here at Unmatched, which is great. And there's a little person icon here, and you can see there's me. So take Peter Basford here, someone we know, but you can see it's got this. I saw this earlier. It basically says you must tell everyone who interacts that you're going to add them to HubSpot. Like, you're not going to do that, are you? Like, who is going to do that? No. And is anyone going to do? It made me laugh when I saw it. Like, is anyone going to actually do that?
Yeah, that is strange.
Like, if I go create contact, and I can create Peter here, and interestingly, it doesn't bring up all the other, all the other things you should be filling in, like mandatory data. There's no option to put an email in there. Nothing. It just hits create. Like, oh, there you go. That went well. But like that is just super strange. Like, you're not going to then message him saying, "Hey, Peter, we just added you to our HubSpot. I hope that's okay." Yeah, I found that it's an odd update. Like, is there any point in it? Thank you very much. And so is there any point in that? I don't know. What do you think?
Yeah, I think that is straight, because like you say, you don't have to set up a sequence where you kind of say, just added you to from your social reply, just to let you know.
Just to let you know, added you to our HubSpot based on the fact that you replied. I don't think it's just. I think it's probably one of those little bits of legal text that they have to put on there, and just that's kind of what it is. So, do you want to jump us to our next one, Adam? What are we talking about next?
Next up is it the
OpenAI app?
Okay, yeah, OpenAI app. So that's now gone into public beta.
Yeah, absolutely. So this one here, the new OpenAI app for HubSpot, used to be in private beta. However, it's now in public beta. As you can see up here, it says scheduled for release on the 19th of May, so a couple of weeks from today. Interestingly, this is only available for enterprise level accounts. If you haven't got an enterprise level account, you can use the Ask Breeze action in HubSpot. We find that spins through Breeze credits quite quickly, Adam. So there's plenty of ways you can spend those credits now, and workflows are just one of those, right?
Yeah, definitely. And I'm still keen to try this myself, but obviously we haven't got access to enterprise, so I haven't been able to have a go. But obviously, massively powerful to be able to use OpenAI within your workflows.
Yeah, absolutely. So with the app, you can put your own specific API key in, and then you can also configure the level of, which model you want to use, the response effort, temperature, so how creative it is. It looks like a great feature. I think this will be really popular with some enterprise level clients that we have. Not something we've got our hands on yet, but I expect this to come down to the pro level eventually. But maybe not just yet. So fingers crossed for that to be on the pro level. So we were just talking about this one, Adam, weren't we, around the form submissions. What do you think about this one?
Yeah, I think a handy little update. This is where you can exclude IP address from form submissions. So if you want to test the form, you can test it without it then adding your results to the analysis. So it will mark it as spam, so it doesn't get mixed into your actual submissions.
Yeah, I like this. I like this one. So remember, it still triggers relevant workflows if you have a workflow on there. But yeah, it won't go into your analytics. It's available for everyone, which is great. Nice, a nice feature, especially for free users as well. So I think that's a really nice little update. Why you wouldn't have a HubSpot form on your website now is yeah, it's going to be on me. So next one I wanted to talk about, AI recommended actions. I think we were a bit unsure about this one. Is it a positive update? Maybe for newbies. What do you think on this one?
Yeah, I think exactly that. I think if you're brand new to workflows, it's going to be useful. If you're in them every day, you probably know what you want to do anyway, so you probably don't need an AI to second guess what you need to do. But I guess it could be useful if you think you know what you need to do, and then the AI suggests something different, and you think, oh, actually, yeah, maybe I could do it that way. But yeah, I definitely think more useful for new users.
Yeah, I think that where this could potentially be useful is things like, you know, if you're doing like a branch after like a marketing email and then you forget to add a delay in. So, you know, I've seen this all the time. People forget to add a delay in between their branch and their email, or email and their branch. And then all of a sudden their branch is just going, oh, no, they didn't open it, but it's had like 0.2 of a second to check if they've opened it, which is going to be super unlikely. So recommendations like that, I think, are going to be pretty useful actually. But as a, you know, it's recommended now that you edit the record. I'm not sure. Maybe not the best example.
Yeah, and I'd be keen to see how it works. Is it an AI based off of what HubSpot believes to be best practice and how to build a workflow, or does it learn off of how you've built a workflow previously, and then it's second guessing what you want to do?
It says similar workflows, so I'm guessing that's HubSpot. Every workflow that HubSpot's kind of got in its global platform across all their customers, rather than your own ones. Because if it was like really, imagine if you were building them badly, which we see them all the time, like, and then it was like, oh yeah, you're doing a great job, and gaslighting you and thinking that was the best way to create the workflows. But I think it's going off their global database by the looks of it.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, so it looks like a good update. I think could be good for newbies as well, but equally I'm just a little bit skeptical about that one. So a lot of new stuff has also gone live this week. So you can see here, drilling down into KPI reports in the mobile app. There's now the intelligence tab for contacts, which I think is quite interesting, but I wasn't aware that Breeze Intelligence actually enriched contact data. So it hasn't actually said what it enriches yet on the contact level, but I imagine it's just things like that they can get from the company, right? Like, accounting, keyword type of stuff, rather than their job title and email and stuff like that.
Yeah, another spend of Breeze credits. But
yeah, it's a bit of a theme recently, right?
Mm-hmm.
So other ones that we've got here, so you've got inline preview editing. So like you can see here, so customization, within preview cards, which is really nice. So you can see here that on the cards that you can now put on the middle of the HubSpot record, you can have them a little bit more customizable, which is quite nice. I think it looks, these cards are starting to look really nice. You've basically got reports inside of the contact and all the HubSpot records, which is really cool.
Yeah, I think every week now there's always an update that makes HubSpot more customizable to each portal. So it's good to see.
Absolutely. A couple here that we spoke about before, saying that they're very much the same but different almost. So Breeze social media agent now. So we've got this new bit here where you can create with AI. This is in private beta. So speeding up the creation of social posts, which I think is quite nice. This bit here is new, so creating posts totally with AI, editing social post suggestions, that type of stuff. So when they first marketed these agents, it said it would like go off and create content automatically in the background. I don't think we're quite there yet from what I've seen.
Yeah, that'd be cool once it does get to that stage, because you can kind of focus on content that you want to write yourself. Because I think a social agent is a really good use case, because you can still write your blogs and your website pages, etc. And then hopefully, like you say, in the background, this is just running away, recognizing what the blog's about, and then just writing promotional posts about it. Or if you put a landing page up about a webinar, it recognizes that and then schedules in posts based around it.
That's what I'm hoping for. So like it says here that might be the new bit, but it says here in your HubSpot account, navigate to create with AI. A wizard will pop up, input your context information. Then it doesn't feel much different to what it already is. Like I want to see it suggesting stuff in the background and then coming up on my home screen saying, hey, we've crafted 10 new posts for the content that you've just made. That's what we're talking about, right? That's what we want.
Yeah, I think, like you said, you want to get to a point where you can just leave it to do its thing. And, after a while of maybe approving what it's writing, and then once it gets that brand voice, it just does its own thing.
Yeah, so I think that's the holy grail of the agents, to be honest. So let's have a quick look at this one. This has been updated again. So sequence reporting advancements. This is coming in a couple of weeks' time into live, but it's in private beta right now. So what this does, it just adds an extra layer of sequence reporting. So we discussed this on a previous pub, I think, Adam, but you've got like new company insights in here. So it tells you how many unique companies have been enrolled, the engagement rate of particular companies, that type of stuff, which I think is quite nice.
Yeah, definitely. I'm not too sure what's changed since they last updated it to this update, but like you say, it's great to be able to have more insights and analytics into sequences, which wasn't there before.
Yeah, it's definitely a bit more detailed around, like, for example, here it's a bit small on screen, but meetings booked by step type. That's quite interesting. So if automated emails are booking more calls, or if phone calls are booking more meetings, sorry. So that's quite interesting, breaking it down. Maybe it's a little bit overloaded with everything, but this is definitely expanded out reporting, which I think is quite nice. We're not using it a lot at the moment, but it does look pretty good. So anything else notable that we've got at the moment then, Adam? Things that have been happening recently?
I think one that we didn't cover last week, still waiting on access to the beta, is the contacts and companies on a board view. Don't know if you've seen that one. Yeah,
I saw this one also. I was on holiday. It looks really interesting. So this is our demo account. We still haven't got it on the live one either. But seeing it's all over LinkedIn, does look pretty cool. So this is around viewing contacts, companies in like a board view that you'd expect to see like deals in, really, which I think is quite interesting. How do you think this is going to be used?
I think it can only be used, in my opinion, when you've already segmented that data down, because ordinarily, if you're just looking at all your contacts, it's going to be too many for that view to be of any use. But I guess if you're segmenting it down off of different properties, there could be some use to see kind of where those contacts sit at a glance. It's just another way of looking at the data. I mean, you could do it via a report, right? But this would just be a lot quicker. Yeah,
it'll be a lot quicker. Yeah, absolutely. So interesting, I think, for marketers, maybe some like SDRs and like people in the early stages of the sales cycle. You can view stuff by life cycle stage, so like over a period of time. But it's essentially bringing like the like funnel reports into the contacts and company view. So it says here we can spot opportunities. We can proactively manage relationships. I think that's maybe dressing it up a little bit. It's essentially just a board view, like a fancy Trello almost, which is not to put down the hard work that's been done here, but I don't see it as a complete game changer personally, unless I've misunderstood it myself. So. Great. Well, I think we've got a few other bits. The only last highlight that we've got to mention is that you mentioned to me before, Adam, is AI translation for email now in public beta and also moved down to pro level.
Yes. Yeah, I think this was enterprise only before. So nice that that's been opened up to pro accounts, and hopefully, like we mentioned at the beginning, that OpenAI will follow suit and also become available to pro hubs.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, this is going to be really good. We've got quite a few customers who are pro level and also got customers abroad. So this can be really, really nice. So we've used this a couple of times. It translates pretty much instantly, and yeah, super duper powerful. So yeah, happy to see that coming down to the pro level. Let's have a quick glance at what's in development. I think there's not been many changes on here. There's still some bits here about basic record cloning waiting in the wings. There's a few apps that do this anyway, so that's quite interesting. Then the only update that's been the last few days is some new permissions coming. So about giving permissions for manually enrolling and for publishing workflows. Quite interesting, I think. Allow some of your team to edit and build them potentially, but not allow them to publish. Could be quite powerful for bigger teams.
Yeah, definitely. And I wonder if the manual enroll comes in hand with that update where you can now enroll contacts into workflows in the right hand side.
Yeah,
because previously you couldn't do that. So now I wonder if, because it's now so easy to enroll people into workflows manually, they're now looking to put some permission sets around that.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea. Yeah, absolutely. And sometimes, like, you know, with the CRM automation card update, where it was like they're you know, on the right hand side where you can enroll from there. I think that's quite interesting. And then if you can then give some people permission to do that and like lock them down and XYZ, I think that'd be really, really quite good. So awesome. Some good updates coming as always. Been a bit of a quiet week, but I'm sure they're releasing stuff as we speak, and next week will be a bit more exciting. But for now, I guess end of our pint at the pub, and have a good bank holiday weekend.
Yep, you too. Cheers, Matt.
Thanks, Adam. Bye.
Bye.